One week, you'll see a headline saying, cuts your cancer risk by 30%. The next week, a different headline says it's wrecking your metabolism for life. Then it's protecting your heart. Then athletes are secretly using it to win at sports that have nothing to do with weight loss. Which one is it? Today, we're breaking down Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound, claim by claim, so you know what's actually backed by evidence, what's overblown, and what's still genuinely up in the air. Quick note before we start. This is real medication, not a lifestyle trend. Nothing here replaces a conversation with your own doctor, who actually knows your health history.
This video is here to make sure you walk into that conversation or scroll past that next headline, actually informed.
Let's start with the basics. What are these drugs, really? Your gut naturally makes a hormone called GLP-1 after you eat. Its job is to tell your pancreas to release insulin.
Drugs like semaglutide, that's Ozempic, and Wegovy, and tirzepatide, that's Mounjaro and Zepbound, copy this hormone but make it way stronger and longer lasting than what your body makes on its own. Tirzepatide actually copies 2 gut hormones instead of 1, which is part of why it tends to produce slightly bigger results. These were originally built to treat type 2 diabetes. The weight loss was a side effect, one so big that companies later built higher dose versions specifically for weight loss.
Here's the numbers. Semaglutide trials showed about 15% body weight loss in a year and a half. Tirzepatide trials showed more. Some people in the highest dose groups lost over 20% of their starting weight.
That's a bigger effect than most diet and exercise programs alone typically produce in studies. Now, let's go claim by claim. Claim 1. These drugs permanently destroy your metabolism. This one's mostly overblown. The scariest version of this, that your body's metabolism gets permanently broken even after you stop the drug, isn't well supported by current research. What is true? Losing a lot of weight, by any method, naturally lowers how many calories your body burns day to day, simply because a smaller body needs less fuel. That's normal, and it happens with any major weight loss, not something unique to these drugs. Claim 2. Stop taking it, and you'll gain it all back, plus more. This one's mostly true, and it's the big one to actually understand. Different studies give different numbers, but they all point the same direction. One major review in the British Medical Journal, covering over 9,000 people, found people regained weight about 4 times faster than people who lost weight through diet and exercise alone, often back to their starting weight within a year and a half to 2 years.
A Cambridge study found people regained 60% of their lost weight in the first year, but the regain then leveled off, with many people keeping off about a quarter longer.
With many people keeping off about a quarter of their total loss long term. A Cleveland Clinic study of nearly 8,000 real-world patients found less dramatic regain, mostly because in the real world, people don't just quit cold turkey. They switch treatments or restart later. Bottom line, doctors generally recommend these as long-term, often indefinite treatment, like blood pressure medication. Stop taking it, and the condition it was managing tends to come back.
This isn't really a myth. It's an honest, under-discussed heads-up. One more twist. Some of the weight people regain after stopping isn't just fat, it's muscle. Which brings us to Claim 3.
Claim 3. These drugs cause real muscle loss, not just fat loss. This one's true, and it's one of the more legitimate concerns on this list. Studies show muscle can make up nearly 40% of total weight lost on these drugs, depending on the person and how much they kept up protein intake and exercise. That's a real concern, especially for older adults, where muscle loss is already tied to falls and frailty. The good news? This is fixable. Research shows resistance training plus enough protein during treatment significantly cuts down how much of the weight loss comes from muscle instead of fat. That's why more doctors now treat strength training as a required companion to these drugs, not an optional bonus.
Let me know in the comments which part surprised you most, and tell me what health claim you want broken down like this next. Don't forget to like and subscribe.